All right, everyone. If you've ever had one of those great ideas and then immediately thought, okay, now what? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down how you take that awesome team idea and turn it into a real, solid business plan. I want you to think of this workbook as your personal roadmap. It's built to take you from that very first what-if moment, that little spark, and guide you every single step of the way to a full-fledged business model canvas. We're going to walk through this whole journey in 4 main parts. This will make a pretty big project feel way more manageable and, honestly, a lot more exciting. So let's just dive right in. Okay, first up, where your project begins. Look, this isn't about just winging it. This workbook is designed to put you on the same structured path that all successful entrepreneurs follow to turn their ideas into something real. And by the end, you're going to be able to do all of this. You'll go from spotting a real problem to brainstorming a solution with your team and then building out a whole business model. But here's the most important part. These aren't just for this one project. This is the stuff employers are actually looking for. Critical thinking, teamwork, leadership. These are real career skills. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Great businesses, they almost never start with a solution. Nope. They start with a deep, almost obsessive understanding of a problem. And that's where we're going next, laying that critical foundation. So the very first thing you have to do is get super specific with this question. I'm not talking about a vague answer like everyone. Who really feels this pain point? Who is this for? You've got to know. And this is exactly why it's so important. When you really, truly get your customer, their lifestyle, what frustrates them every day, you can build everything else around what they actually need. It's the bedrock of your entire model. No more guesswork. So once you know who you're solving for, you got to figure out what is already out there. Your team needs to basically become detectives and learn everything about the current market. What are people using right now to try and fix this problem? Right, and the key here is to look for the gaps. You're not just making a list of competitors. You're digging into their weaknesses, finding those little frustrations that customers still have. That's where you'll find your big opportunity. Okay, so this brings us perfectly into our third section, the solution and the business model. You've nailed down the problem, you've spotted the opportunity, and now it's time to actually build the framework for your venture. This right here, this is the core question. This is where you have to define what makes you special, your unique value proposition. Why is your idea better? What makes it stand out? Why would a customer pick you over everything else? To get all this thinking organized, we're going to use a really powerful tool called the Business Model Canvas, or BMC. And don't worry, it's not some 50-page business plan. It's a single page that lets you see your entire business at a glance. It's awesome. The whole canvas is organized into these 9 essential blocks. On the right side, you've got everything customer-facing. Who are your customer segments? What's your value proposition for them? How do you reach them through channels? On the left side, it's all the backstage stuff. What are the key activities you have to do, the key resources you need, and the key partners who help you? And then at the bottom, it all comes together with your costs and your revenue streams. It's literally your whole business on one page. So your team is going to take all the answers you've been working on and start filling in these boxes. You'll start on the right with your customers and value, and then work your way through the rest of the canvas. This is the part where all those separate ideas start to click together and really become a coherent, connected business model. All right, so you've got a first draft of your canvas filled out. Awesome. But you're not done just yet. The final step is probably the most critical one. It's time to get some fresh eyes on your work and really polish this plan. Now, this workbook has a pretty cool, innovative step built in. Using an AI tool as a checkpoint. The whole point here is to have something challenge your assumptions. Get an objective look at any weaknesses or opportunities you might have totally missed. But, and this is super important, remember that the AI is just a tool. It's great for generating ideas, but it is not the final decision maker. It can spot patterns, sure, but your team brings the context, the real-world knowledge, and that essential human judgment to decide what actually makes sense. By finishing this whole process, your team has done so much more than just complete a project. What you've really done is developed a repeatable framework for innovation. This is a skill set you can use for any idea you have from here on out. So you've got the tools, you've got the framework, you basically have a launchpad for your ideas. The only real question left is, what problem are you going to solve first?